The movement in support of education reform activist Sonam Wangchuk has now gone global. What began as a protest at Delhi's Jantar Mantar has spread across several nations, with members of the Indian diaspora organizing demonstrations and demanding accountability over the alleged examination irregularities and governance issues in India's education system. Well, in the United States, the advocacy group Hindus for Human Rights issued an open letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, expressing concern over Sonam Wangchuk's deteriorating health during his indefinite hunger strike. The group urged the government to immediately begin dialogue with the protesters, provide a transparent response to the concerns raised over examination and recruitment systems, and ensure unrestricted access to medical care for Sonam Wangchuk and other fasting protesters. The organization said that while the government may disagree with demands for the education minister's resignation, it should not remain silent on the issues being raised. It also appealed to Sonam Wangchuk and fellow protesters to prioritize their health, stating that no one should have to risk their life simply to have their voice heard. And as a mark of solidarity, Hindus for Human Rights and the Azadi Project announced a solidarity gathering in Washington, D.C., calling for justice, accountability, and meaningful dialogue between the government and protesters. Meanwhile, support has also emerged across Canada, as in Toronto, students and members of the Indian diaspora gathered outside the Consulate General of India, holding placards demanding education reforms, accountability for the alleged examination irregularities, and action on issues affecting students. Protesters also expressed support for Sonam Wangchuk's hunger strike and called for greater transparency in the education system. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, hundreds of members of the Indian diaspora assembled outside the Indian High Commission in London, with similar demonstrations taking place in Manchester, Glasgow, and Edinburgh. The protests were jointly organized by South Asia Solidarity Group, Students' Federation of India, and the India Workers Association. Participants raised slogans such as Inqilab Zindabad and Pradhan Istifa Do, while carrying placards calling for accountability and expressing solidarity with Sonam Wangchuk. Several protesters shared personal reasons for joining the demonstrations, saying that they wanted to stand with students in India who were demanding transparency and reforms. Well, support for the movement has also reached Germany, as videos circulating on social media showed members of the Indian community gathering near Berlin's Brandenburg Gate, holding banners reading "Democracy demands dialogue. I support Sonam Wangchuk and Dharmendra Pradhan must resign." The demonstrations quickly gained attention online, with many users praising overseas Indians for standing in solidarity with students back home. Reports also indicate solidarity events in the Netherlands and Ireland, reflecting the growing international attention surrounding the ongoing protest. Back in India, Sonam Wangchuk continues his indefinite hunger strike, and according to the doctors, he remains under continuous medical supervision, with his health being closely monitored as his fast continues. And despite appeals from supporters and political leaders asking him to end his fast, Sonam Wangchuk has maintained that meaningful dialogue and accountability remain the priority. And the student-led Cockroach Janata Party movement, which began over alleged examination irregularities and demands for reforms in India's education system, has now evolved into an international campaign, drawing support from Indian communities across multiple nations. Demonstrations abroad continue to call for transparency, accountability, dialogue, and reforms, while expressing solidarity with protesters in India. And with support now visible in the US, Canada, the UK, Germany, the Netherlands, and Ireland, the movement has expanded beyond India's borders, highlighting the global attention surrounding the ongoing protest and the demands being raised by students and supporters. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.